Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Not only did it bless us with Ewan Macgregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's coming back on Disney+, but also generated a ton of merchandise and unrivaled anticipation. Just a bit too much for its own good. So we're gonna see what it took to get people hyped for The Phantom Menace. So let's get into it. Hello friends, and welcome back to the Brockopp side and to a new episode of History of Hype, where we learn how butts got in seats for our favorite movies? It was inevitable we'd cover at least one Star Wars movie on this show at some point, and boy howdy did I pick an interesting one. So let's just take a step way back to when people just knew that Star Wars was finally coming back. 1993. Alright, here's the skinny. It had been 10 years since Return of the Jedi, and fans finally got the news they wanted to hear, that a new Star Wars trilogy was on the way. Hell yeah! And it was gonna be a prequel trilogy. Still hell yeah! But little did they know the first film wouldn't be out for another 6 years. Sorry, what? The next few years would still have plenty of Star Wars content to tide fans over, what with Power of the Force action figures, Shadows of the Empire, and of course these Star Wars special editions. This slew of new content was just to test the waters of Star Wars hype, and well, the consensus was basically, yes, more Star Wars, damn it! Cut to November 1998, where the ball really got rolling. We received the first teaser poster of a young Anakin Skywalker with the shadow of Darth Vader. It is a fantastic poster, the kind that just makes you go, damn. 3 days after the poster, we got the trailer, playing in front of showings of Meet Joe Black. Kind of an odd movie to pair it with, but okay. Fans paid monies just to go to the theater, watch the trailer, and then leave. Sometimes even multiple times a day. Then, after a bootleg version leaked online the next day, it was made available on the official Star Wars website. The servers were absolutely overloaded. It was monumental and just a small inkling of the role the internet can play in promoting big movies like this. 1999 gave us the first Star Wars Celebration, a convention for everything Star Wars, which is still running to this day. And now we get to the big stuff. Pepsi. Merchant promos, baby, and holy shit was there a lot of it for The Phantom Menace. And I mean a lot. We got not one, but 3 fast food tie-ins with KFC, Taco Bell, and Pizza Hut. Is that Colonel Sanders with a goddamn lightsaber? Each restaurant's promotion was themed after one of the planets from the movie, and they all had their own unique line of toys, cup toppers, and posters. But don't worry, if you don't want tacos with your Jar Jar, there was a massive toy push that launched on May 3rd. Toys R Us held a midnight madness where fans camped out to get their hands on the new merchandise, and certificates were handed out at the event. You got everything one could ask for. Action figures, inflatable Queen Amidala chairs, whatever the hell this thing is. We also got the first ever Lego Star Wars sets, which were part of something beautiful, and they basically saved Lego from bankruptcy in the 90s, so you know, put some respect on Lego Jar Jar's name, damn it. So you know how every movie we've talked about on the show so far has had at least one tie-in video game? You know, usually one that's ported to all the major consoles, and then maybe one scaled down version for handheld systems. About that. Phantom Menace for PS1, Jedi Power Battles, N64 Battle for Naboo, Episode 1 Racer, Game Boy Color Obi-Wan's Adventure, the arcade game, and then we got ones for the PS2 and Xbox era with Obi-Wan, Star Wars Bounty Hunter, Star Wars Racer Arcade, Star Wars Starfire, Star Wars Super Bombad Racing. I only have one of these games, The Phantom Menace for PS1. At first glance, it seems to capture the movie pretty accurately, what with the lightsabers and the droids and the totally non-Irish Liam Neeson.
When the Trade Federation Viceroy arrives, we must convince him to leave the system.
Unfortunately, all it made me want to do was replay Lego Star Wars the video game, which does the same thing, but better. Funny enough, this copy of the game was actually lent to me by my high school Spanish teacher, and that was about 7 years ago? Mr. Werner, if you're watching this video, I hope this game's absence hasn't taken a toll on your life. Merchandise sales for The Phantom Menace were said to be around $500 million. But would you believe me if I said that number actually fell short of expectations? Needless to say, they really over-marketed this movie. I mean, yes, demand was high, but it wasn't that high, leaving toy stores with a lot of overflow of merch, like these Sith accessory packs. That's just a butthole. Now I know what you're all thinking at this point. Hey, what about the box office returns, Mr. Brockopp? Good question. What with $500 million in merchandise sales and literal internet-breaking trailers, it was definitely bound to get butts into seats, so let's get to the box office. The Phantom hype came together on May 19th, 1999. It brought in $64 million in its opening weekend and would bring in $924 million worldwide. The 3D re-release in 2012 pushed it to $1 billion. The reaction to the movie was, well,
there's no way it's gonna be a disappointment.
Oops.
Are there any of you that think this is gonna be a lousy movie?
Oops.
10 loved it, and 2 are no longer Star Wars fans.
Oops. The Phantom Menace was generally hated by audiences at the time of release, claiming it ruined Star Wars. Now come on, how many times have we heard that sentiment over the last 7 years or so? I personally don't think it's anywhere as bad as most people claim. It's got a half-decent blend of practical and CG elements, John Williams delivers an incredible soundtrack, and the pod racing is a lot of fun. We have seen quite a few fans actually start to warm up to this movie and just the prequels as a whole over the last couple of years. Maybe it's them finally getting to see these movies in a new light past all the hype? Or it's just because they got new Star Wars stuff to hate, I don't know. So it seems that the Phantom Menace hype didn't really pay off, or at least not in the way it was intended to. I mean, of course we did get 2 more movies, a whole new generation of kids had their own era of Star Wars to grow up with, and it did give us Ewan Macgregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's coming back to the role in just a few days. Star Wars is confusing sometimes. So if you want to see some more History of Hype episodes, you can check out the playlist right over here, or if you want to see what YouTube recommends you watch me next, you can check out that video right down there, and of course subscribe if you live talking by movies, and we'll see you on the Brockopp side.